2.
And we're off and running. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, you're always welcome, no matter where in the world you're watching from. This is a podcast that deals in Scottish sport only, unless it is on the fringes, like we're playing another team. But tonight we're discussing the end of the Six Nations. Why has Steve Clarke not picked a Hearts player when they're on fire just now? There's loads and loads and loads. We'll get through them all. Glenn's got the quiz. We've got the forecasts for the next week's matches. Where do we start? Six Nations. It's gone. It's over, Chris. Did you expect Scotland to beat Ireland in the last game?
Well, I said at the time I hoped, but I think a record the last 12 games or whatever suggested otherwise. But for me, I was hoping we would turn up because, and then build on it at least Triple Crown. So I was hopeful, but very quickly during the game it was obvious that we weren't quite going to turn up.
Yeah, that's what I thought exactly. I thought, when you're trying to play teams, Glenn, you've got different options. If they're coming at you hard and fast down the middle, kick it to the sides, kick and chase. Scotland did none of what they did against France that they should have done against Ireland to get the space they needed to, energise the back line and get them going. It just seemed to be an arm wrestle that Ireland won.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's a mismatch, isn't it? When we played against France, cracking result. When we played against England, also very good result. Both those teams let you play. It's much, because England not so much, but they are open. They haven't got the same kind of flair that France have, etc. But France against Scotland, it was two teams that really, really wanted to play. Probably, I'd say the two most attack-minded teams in the Northern Hemisphere. And it was it was an epic game, and it was open, and we actually punished them. We were clinical almost every time. I think our conversion rate of going into their 22 is probably the highest we've ever seen at that level for a Scotland team. Whereas you come up against Ireland and we didn't change it. We tried to do exactly what we did against France, and Ireland knew that this is probably one of the most talented teams that have come up against Scotland-wise certainly in the last 3-4 seasons. Things are clicking. They ground it out. They did the physical.
That's all
thing,
they did.
And it's boring to watch, etc. From a fanciful kind of like, oh, this is how we want to play rugby, and it's nice to see like two teams playing basketball almost end to end. But from an Ireland point of view, they played it brilliantly. They knew how to stop us, and they were clinical. Whereas we weren't. The amount of times we went into their 22 and we didn't come away with anything. They got the penalty, it broke us down, and then they hit us.
We did score tries, Chris. It wasn't and if we got another try, that would be the most tries we put against them. But they were resolute. They knew what they were doing. They had a structure to them, Ireland, and it felt like Scotland didn't have a structure. Pass it wide, do a scissors, do a pick and go, get down to the break, get on the breakdown, and really assert your authority. But we weren't at the races, and I think the France game took a lot out of us, to be honest.
It did, but I mean, you can sort of say in the last 7, 8, 10 minutes in the France game, we let them score quite a few. So you'd be thinking, if looking at that going well, you're already looking ahead to the Ireland game. But I mean, it's rugby, and as Glenn said, you want it to be pretty and all the rest of it. But I'm more than happy. I keep saying this with the football as well. For us to come off the pitch and other teams to go, how did that happen? More than happy to take that any day of the week. But it nearly was as if we're pushing them back, but we're hoping for a moment of magic, the Darcy Graham or the flip on or whatever that seemed to. We were capable of it, but I think some of the tiredness translated into, lack of these, just maybe no match winning, but try winning ideas that would just come through out of nowhere. And yeah, definitely the France game, but getting into it, I was, I suppose, grateful that we were still in the running. So I don't know if that translated to Scotland, but yeah, we were looking for other moments of magic. Then on the day we just didn't have it, and they were there to put the hard work in and just bring the game, slow it down a bit, and just play a tactical game. And we didn't have the answer for it. So I think that's the next stage we need to get to. that
Yeah, it's
chips
a
are
good.
down, tactical game. What are you doing? What do you not do?
Well, Finn Russell, Glenn, has always been really good, even when the chips were down in a game and the odds are stacked against us. He always comes out with a way of trying to change the match. Like against Wales, he done the kick to Darcy Graham. That was just two people talking to each other. Seems to be no communication. Against Ireland, he didn't know what to do. What you've got to do is kick to space, as the New Zealanders will say, kick to land, not to hand. If you're kicking it up the pitch, make sure that Irish guy can't get it. It's going behind him or it's going in front of him and it's going to bounce. Put the bounce on. You can do that with your foot, just to affect the bounce of the ball. There was none of that. And we were screaming at the telly. Now's the time. There's no backfield there. Kick it in. And they didn't. And the forwards didn't look left or right and they just went crashing front in. And as you say, Glenn, penalty. Somebody off their feet. It's getting stolen the ball, or it was just one of those stupid knock-ons that happen. You need a coach that can take them off at halftime and say, "This is what we do. This is what we do."
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, as far as the penalty is concerned as well, and the questions have risen again about Gregor. But, overall, I would imagine most people will look back at this and say it's a relatively successful campaign. Although, is this what we're aiming for? No. Chris touched on it. The next step has to come. Will it come under Gregor? I don't know. On the penalties, I mean, for me, it's the game against Ireland. It just looked like the games we normally play against them. We were back to being committing too many penalties and too many handling errors. We threw the ball and there was no one there because we were anticipating them being there, but for some reason it didn't work. It had worked in the previous week. We were much more clinical, much more decisive. I think against France, we gave away 4 penalties in the entire match.
Yeah.
We had given away 2 in the first 10 minutes against Ireland. To be fair to the team as well, I think we also have to look at the quality of the opposition. We are not playing well away from home. Look at the Italy match. Okay, we got a result against Wales. Okay, but we really had to work for it. And you've got to look at the opposition. Wales were in a bad place. They got their win at the end of it. They ended a bad run of almost like 3 years or something without a win. Ireland are a step up. You don't have the Murrayfield crowd behind you to help you get the results against England and help you beat France, etc. So it is harder. That's the next step. I think Scotland have to be able to travel against the big nations and actually start getting results. We can beat anybody on our day at Murrayfield. That's without question, But if you're going to go and do something in the Six Nations, or you're going to go and do something in, in the World Cup, for instance, then you have to be able to travel and get results, and that's what we can't do.
Well, that's a really interesting point, Chris, because a lot of Scotland fans, rugby fans, have been saying to Gregor Townsend and the SRU, what the hell are you going to Canada for a tour match? What the hell are you going to Chile, Uruguay for a test match? You should be playing the top teams, not at Murrayfield, excuse me, but you should be playing them in North Park, because that's what Ireland did. Excuse me. And they've done it, and they've learned the lessons. They've learned how to combat these players and these teams and these formations. And when you're in the tin can in Wellington, that's a hostile atmosphere. That's pro New Zealand. And if Ireland can go there and learn the lessons of the last tour they've done and then beat them in the next tour, help, good on them. That's what you do. But for Scotland, we're playing these Mickey Mouse teams. They're third tier, maybe in fourth tier, and we beat them. And it goes down in Gregor's Townsend's table as wins, wins, wins. But then when the shit hits the fan, we're playing Wales, we're struggling. We're playing Ireland, we're struggling. We play Italy, we're getting beat. It's the SRU have done a lot to play to put the blame at.
Well, I mean, I think it's all the more galling that they go to places like Chile and Uruguay, like right next door to Argentina, and you're like, yeah, okay, jump on a megabus and you're there to do it. I mean, Ireland, they were already at a decent level, but obviously they threw themselves into the crucible and said, right, we're going to take on the biggest guys away from home, with a view of improving what we've already got. And, they were already a level above us before that happened. So they're not scared to go in there and gamble for the benefit of improving. So I win, but you rewind it and say, right, well, but what did it actually prove? Really, it didn't really prove. You could have spent half the money and went to play. Well, not even so much Georgia, right enough. They'd have been tougher opposition, but they could have went and played
Yeah,
Romania or something like that. I mean, so aye, it can't be. It can't be, the Cliff Richard, we're all going on a summer holiday thing because,
yeah,
when you come
exactly.
back your holidays, you'll be sending bad postcards. So, I don't, it's like with any business process, what is the expected or the desired outcome? And there must have been a fax or whatever sense saying we expect this or whatever, but I can't really see what beneficial outcome you could get by playing the minor. If you've got a couple of guys to blood in or whatever, but even then, put them on a last minute in a big game. So yeah, I don't see what the point for the team was.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great point in there, and we joked about it. We're not all going on the summer holiday, but Glenn, a lot of the rugby journalists were saying that's exactly what it was. They were going over to these places, having a nice time, playing a game of rugby, winning the game of rugby. Everybody's spirits are high. Everybody gets a game, and then that's it. Job done. It's not. And the SRU, and we're finding out, this is a second thing I want to come and touch upon because I think this is crucial to how Scotland as a rugby team are. The Rugby Sevens was held in New York. Every country that is a Sevens team was there. And we used to get it on telly. We don't get it on telly because there's no Scottish team, there's no Welsh team, there's no English team. But here's the thing, Glenn. The British team is chock full of English. There's no Scots or Welsh in it. So, and this was a great opportunity through the years to put people like Darcy Graham. He plied his trade at the Sevens. You make them aware of space. He develops his pace. There's Aaron Reid's another guy went through that kind of system. Kyle Rowe went through that. If we don't have that, where's our next speedsters going to come from?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's even worse, sorry, by the way. Yeah, I'm totally against the amalgamation and playing under the Union Jack. It stops the development of our players. But not only that, I don't even think I don't know. Actually, I think it's the English rugby union who actually look after it, etc., and pick the players. Hence why it's mostly English players. But they're appallingly bad. The men's team are bottom of the group. Mm-hmm. And the women's team are exactly the same as well. Who's top? South Africa, Fiji, Australia, New Zealand, the teams that take it seriously, the teams that see it as a proper development tool. Okay, here we go. Learn the basics, learn about how you attack people, learn how you beat people, etc. And then and it's promotion. It's develop the players, and then you're preparing them for like stepping up to full-blown international rugby. But we're not taking it seriously. And whether it be the SRU, the Welsh Rugby Union, both of them are hemorrhaging money. So this is why they've done it. Because it means they can actually say, okay, we don't actually have to put money towards that. The RFU is laden with money and they don't know what they're doing, but they've got money, so they're taking it on, and they've not they can't have put the right coaching structure in place before they're performing as badly as they are. So it's an embarrassment, especially because Scotland invented it in Melrose in the 1800s.
Exactly.
It gave birth to the Sevens, and we don't participate.
But we've already said, me and Chris have already said, this summer holiday, this junta or across to the Americas, this costs a hell of a lot of money, Glenn. You're taking 20, 30 players, plus all the entourage, the masseurs and the managers and the coaches and the SRU board. They go as well, by the way.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, though, it shows how incompetent they are. Because, I mean, if you're planning a holiday, who's going to Uruguay? Not many. Who's going to Chile? No. Portugal, they've just won the Tier 2 equivalent, the European Championship. If you're going to play a Tier 2 nation, I don't agree with it, but I mean, Tier 2 nations have to develop. That's the up-and-coming one. They've just beaten Georgia. I think it's the first time Georgia haven't won the Tier 2 in Europe for about 15 seasons, that's better. It's not the long flights. It's actually it's close to home. It's over and done with quite quickly. But we need, if you want to improve, we've touched on it already. You need to play the better countries, learn from it, learn how to win away from home, and then against Tier 1 nations.
Especially, Chris, as Scotland have been languishing at the wooden spoon level in the Six Nations, the second round or the first round of the World Cups. we're nowhere near an international team. And Glenn, you say they're badly at picking holidays. Mark my words, they go to the best hotels in Uruguay,
Yeah,
and there's some nice places. They got the best hotels in Canada, and they think they're doing the job for Scotland because they're winning matches. It's a farce. It's a joke.
Yeah, especially because of this, Nori. You've touched on it there about the World Cup, etc., and early exits. Okay, so now you can always get out of the group stage kind of thing, but your matches thereafter are really difficult if you don't actually win your group. Why are we not winning the group? Because our world ranking is really poor. You know, why is our world ranking really poor? Well, we're not performing as well as we can in the Six Nations. Why are we not performing as well in the Six Nations? We're not actually playing tough nations to actually improve and learn how to win away from home. And if you don't get the ranking points, I mean, you get nothing for beating Uruguay, really. If you lose, then you lose a lot of ranking points, but you get nothing for beating them. And I think you have to be in the top 6 in the World Cup, in the world rankings to get, basically a very favourable draw. And we're not. I think we were 7th. So at the time, I think we were 7th when they did the draw. And if you actually had just put a bit more thought and consideration into planning, and I said, okay, play this one, and we could actually get into the top 6. But no, we didn't. And now we've got an almighty difficult draw for the World Cup because of incompetence.
Oh, but Chris, on that point that Glenn makes, they put us in with South Africa and Ireland. Now, if you were in the SRU, you would go to the WRU and say, wait a minute here, these are the 2 top-tier teams playing against us. We have no chance. And make a case to put another tier. If you're wanting to develop countries, let them play against those teams. And give Scotland a chance to develop in the competition and get through to the next round. But the SRU didn't. This is, I rub my belly, tickle me. You can have it.
Yeah, well, I mean, most sports now, it's a negotiation sport as well. So you've got to fight your corner. But I mean, if they haven't, then South Africa and Ireland it is then. So there you go. But just as far as playing the sort of weird nations and all that, it's not to say we would have went to South Africa and won. There might have been a few bloody noses, but there's no other way around it. Ireland went and has a few good results.
Exactly.
That sort of matched their courage. That was a reward for that. But we might not have won. We might have got a few. We might have got a few pumpings. But just you have to. That's the sort of level you have to look at because you don't learn anything for these games, obviously.
No. Glenn, let's get a question. Let's change direction a wee bit because we're getting
ourselves up a little bit, yeah. Well, we're going to be speaking about Hearts later on, so we'll start with a Hearts question, yeah? Okay, so which Hearts footballer has played in the top 5 tiers of Scottish football, winning the Highland League, the Scottish League 2, Scottish League 1 titles along the way? So which Hearts player has played in all 5 of the top tiers of Scottish football, and he's won 3 titles? Well, he's won 3 of them: Highland League, Scottish League 2, and Scottish League 1. And of course, this season he might get the Premiership. Then he'll be hoping that Hearts get relegated so he can win the Championship and get them all.
So he plays for Hearts just now?
Yeah.
Can it be a holiday? Because obviously
it can't be Harry Milne. Harry Milne came up through the ranks, didn't he? He was with Partick, and then before that he was with Cove. But I'm not sure they won. I'm not sure he won a title with Cove or something.
He's a Bankery loon as well.
Aye. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, would he have been in the Highland League and then going into the third and making his way up? Don't know. I'll say Harry Milne. Just because.
Sorry.
You go, Chris.
I'll just say.
Well, honestly, Nori, you're on fire. It's Harry Milne.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you gave the clue that he's a Bankery loon. He's from the north. So obviously the Highland League would come into play in that. And it is
slightly, yeah. But you knew already that he played for Cove Rangers.
Yeah.
And he won all 3 with Cove Rangers.
Did he?
Yeah.
There you are.
Do you want the next one just to leave hanging?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. Right. Scotland squad was announced. So I've actually got 3 questions. I don't know if we'll have time for it, okay? But what it is basically there's 3 choices. They're easy. The first one's easy. Second one's okay. Next one's hard. And it's basically match the club to the current Scotland player. Okay,
Right.
So first one's defence. Match the club to the current Scotland squad defender. Rangers, Everton, Wrexham.
Wrexham?
Aye, that's a hard one, you see. Easy, okay, hard.
In the current Scotland squad?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, it's not the guy with the ponytail who used to play at Dundee United. What's his name? Can't mind his name now. What was it? Rangers. Who's this?
Okay, so defender for Rangers, a defender for Everton, and a defender for Wrexham. Who do you think for Rangers?
John Stewart.
Yeah.
John.
Oh, that's the easy one, guys. So what about the okay one? The okay one is Everton.
Nathan Patterson?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. So now the hard one, Wrexham.
It's he played for Dundee United, didn't he?
I don't know, actually.
Oh,
I never looked into that. I was quite surprised when I saw him called up.
Yeah. Is he an older player? Is he a younger player?
Well, late 20s.
All right. Well, it can't be the one I'm thinking of because he's in his 30s, definitely.
He might just have turned 30, but he's not in his. That's tops.
Right.
He's in his 3rd decade. Starting it.
I don't know. We'll leave that one hanging, right? Wrexham player. That's it. We'll move on. Keep that one hanging. We'll move on to the Scotland squad because, Chris, Steve Clarke hasn't included any Hearts player. And Derek McInnes was like, he says, I'm shocked, but I'm not really surprised. He was beeling. He was absolutely fizzing. His team's on top of the league. He's got star players playing brilliant football, and Steve Clarke's overlooked them. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, obviously he wants to keep a bit of continuity for the final itself and all the rest of it. But these games, I mean, you're allegedly playing against similar opposition. But yeah, I think Halkett and Milne alone, because when they're off, Gordon must be injured. But yep, I mean, Milne sort of, the Devlin sort of character. He's just come up. He's played his way to. I mean, everybody does play their way, I suppose. But he's went the long, hard way. Halkett as well, brilliant player, and but I mean, we've talked about this long and weary. He does have his favourites, and sometimes he does look favourably across the border sometimes, and yeah, it is quite unusual that. I mean, it's not as if for this week only Hearts top of the league. They've been sitting there for months, so. Yeah. And you might well do the job. So I don't. And when you watch Hearts, I mean, just the fluidity and all the rest of it. And yeah, I'm surprised, but I think McInnes has seen it all before, so he'll just it's water off a duck's back. In fairness, he's got bigger fish to fry. But yeah, I'm definitely very, very surprised when you look at Hearts and the fact that they've been sitting up there for a long while, beating Celtic and Rangers, not a problem. So yeah, they haven't got the reward that I think they should get, but maybe that just means it's a bit like some teams getting put out of Europe. It's like, well, okay, just concentrate dead on this, and then they might get a few, a weekend to recover. Which when you consider Devlin's out and Shanklin's out, so I would just take the positives from it. And the more I see Derek McInnes, the less greeting face he seems to be in a lot of ways. So I think secretly it has to, it has to pretend he's beeling, but secretly he'll go, well, do you know what? We're stretched a bit now, so if they keep going, they'll get their turn. So yeah, just keep the squad together. And Steve Clarke's lost, maybe.
Well, the problem I've got with Steve Clarke, Glenn, is that he's based in England, and he looks at all these players from Wrexham and all the way down there, and he hasn't got a clue what's happening in the Scottish game, our domestic game, and he'll go by anyone that's in Celtic and Rangers, because I bet you any money, if all those Hearts players played for the Old Firm, they'd be first choice to go in the team. It's just, I don't know, why wouldn't you bring the best, and we can see the best in Scottish football at Hearts right now. Why wouldn't you just give them, even if it was not like one of these games we've got coming up that aren't World Cup games? Test them out. Give them a fillip by putting them in place. Have a go. Let's see what they're like at a national stage. Because how the hell you can still maintain that Lyndon Dykes, who's not getting a game for his club just now, and Che Adams is away over Italy, you've been mollycoddling these players, and there's so many of them that he's been mollycoddling, hoping to get them into a better position with their clubs and helping them on. That's not what the Scotland team's all about. It's about getting the best team possible for the park.
Okay, right. Not very often I'm really defensive for Steve Clarke. Have to disagree, guys. The only one I think that could have a decent shout is Halkett. I think he's a great defender. Okay, I think he's come to. Yeah, well, that's what I say, but you can't. Well, Shanklin would be in it, but Shanklin's only back this weekend. Shanklin has not played at all.
Mark Leonard?
So, one second.
Right.
If you don't, right. Shanklin's not played. He's just back. Okay. Halkett, right. Yeah. Okay. Harry Milne, he's left back, 29. I think he's a decent player. But is he going to get in front of Robbo and Tierney at the moment? No, he's not. You're only probably going to carry 2 players in each position. McCart, 28, centre back. Maybe he's had an okay season, but Halkett would be the guy. If you're going to go with a centre back, it would be Halkett. Leonard, yeah, he's just transferred there. 7 matches, he's playing quite well. But midfield's our strongest area. You look at who he's got to compete against. He's 24 and he's still learning and he's developing. I reckon he'll get in the next season, maybe. Depends where he goes, etc. Blair Spittle, 30. He's okay. He's too old now. When he burst on the scene with Queen's Park and Dundee United, I was thinking, he's got tricks, etc. But you don't want, you need a younger winger than him. Apart from that, that's the only Scots he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, he's based in England, but Clarke is looking at the players. But you have to look at the talent pool,
Well, here's the thing, Glenn. You say, well, there's no way this guy can get in. There's no way because we've got players there already. What you want in the squad is depth of squad. So if one guy gets injured, you've got a ready-made, a good player to come in instead of him. And I honestly think Tierney prefers playing on the other side, even though he's a left player, because he knows he can't get in because Andy Robertson. So he has to try and make his way on that side. You're right, McTominay, McGinn, we've got some classy players, and it's going to be tight for anyone trying to get in that team. Yeah. But I'm talking about who's under these guys. Who's the guys? We need depth. We need 2 players, really good players for every position.
Well, that's fair enough, okay? But also one of the things you have to do as well is you can't make just wholesale changes. You don't want to completely upset it. So you think about it. So he's brought in Dominic Hyam from Wrexham, okay? Now, that's the answer, by the way. But I have to, if we're going to talk about it, I have to say it, okay? See, and so, by the way, that's not England, it's Wales. Okay, so he's brought him in, okay? He's brought Patterson back, and I think crucially, this is why there's not so many places, up for grabs. Ross McCrory's back. He's having an outstanding season. He was brilliant for Aberdeen. He went down to Bristol. He's injury-free. I think he's only 25 or 26. He's been around for ages. But I think he is so versatile. He is well worth a look to see what, if he can still do it at this level. So he's got them. In midfield, he's answered it. He's picked Andy Irvine. That's fantastic. Irvine, who played for West Ham, now with Sparta Prague, etc. And up front, he's brought in the young lad from Kilmarnock, Finlay Curtis, and he's doing really well. Now I know he's a Rangers player, but he's playing for Kilmarnock, and he's only 19. Now you can only bring in so many. There's arguments for Hearts, and there's arguments for the other ones. And Hearts would have had Shankland in.
The only thing I can say, Glenn, I'll bring Chris in it. The Hearts have got the most Scottish players in their squad. Aberdeen don't. They've got about 4, 5. Aye. But Hearts have continued to play Scottish players. And you just think, well, a Scottish team playing at a good level, there must be somebody in there. Even if you, as I say again, Glenn, for a second position, so you've got strength and depth. These guys have been at the top of the league for a good reason. They're playing good football.
Not defending Aberdeen, because at one point Aberdeen didn't have many Scottish players, but Aberdeen have got 5 or 6 just now. And currently, the last match, that Hearts had 5.
Aye, but in the squad,
McInnes doesn't go with youth. He didn't Aberdeen. If you look at the players he's got one young player, Leonard, and he's 24. You know, he goes. You know, and look, there's pressure with like trying to win the title, etc. But he was the same at Aberdeen when he wasn't trying to win the title. You know, he won't take a gamble. Shanklin couldn't get a game for him for a season and a half. He got like 5 or 10 minutes at the end of matches, etc. So part of the problem, like McInnes turns around and says, "I can't believe there's no Hearts players." Blah blah blah. What do you expect? But it's half his fault. The players he's got in there are well, they're 29, they're 30, etc. And I do think Halkett should get a sniff. Definitely, I think Leonard will, but Leonard's only on loan. So Leonard, depends. I think he's from Birmingham City, so they might buy him, they might not, kind of thing. But he's got a future as well.
Yeah, exactly. And on the whole, the squad, what both do you think? Do you think it's a good enough squad with the players we've got, Chris?
I mean, I take it Gordon's injured, but I mean, you saw Scott Bain's clanger. I mean, probably just a one-off, like, you know, to be honest. But yeah, Angus Gunn said to no getting massive game time, so you worry about that. But midfield, I mean, absolutely, but just I don't want to say world class, but yeah, we've got a right solid midfield. Che Adams, I don't know, to be honest. Lyndon Dykes, I wouldn't have both of them, but yeah, I think it's looking quite strong, and Tierney's quite versatile anyway. So if you get him in, you get choice of left or right fullback and centre half. So I think the squad's looking all right, but you know, there's always going to be wee gripes about who's getting in. But Finlay Curtis, so you're guessing that maybe that was somebody. Obviously he's form, but Stevie Clark's still got a few feelers up there in Kilmarnock. So overall, yeah. And if I was a Hearts fan, honestly, it wouldn't bother me. They should maybe use it to rile up the team or whatever. But this is a once in a long time chance for them. So they didn't get selected. So just crack on.
It's a worrying position, the goalie, Glenn. When the Dundee goalie's getting mentioned in pages, you know, and they're just recovering, they're developing as a team. He's not a world class player, John McCracken. Scott Bain, is he good enough to play in the World Cup? Well, I'd probably rather have a player who's playing all the time rather than Gunn who's not getting a game. You know, I don't know, but we're struggling, aren't we? Goalkeeper.
Yeah, we have been for a while. But don't worry, the $6 million man is going to come back. He's 42. He's going to save the day. You know, he's been saving himself for the entire season just to come out of retirement. Kasper Schmeichel, he's down. He's younger. He's like the Ronaldo of the goalkeeping. You know, I think. Look, Angus Gunn not getting a game. He should have got a move. I mean, he probably tried to get a move. I don't know why it never came off. Yeah, that's the area I'm most worried about, you know. But as far as the depth of the team's concerned, I'm delighted that Andy Irvin's in it. I just want to see what he can do, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't think Finlay Curtis will get a sniff at the moment. I think it's more like a gradual introduction. And we've got other friendlies as well. I'm most disappointed, actually, that Barney Stewart's not in it. He's in the 21. He's the most informed striker in the Premier League since he joined. You know, he's on fire. You know, hat-trick against Hibs. You think he's got 4 in 6 games. He's back putting assists in as well. His movement, he just appears at the right time. You know, honestly, I really, really think he's a promising player. So if he does well for the 21s, then I think he can get promoted. There's another set of friendlies coming up.
I hope so. Chris, he's a guy that's carries a bit of weight. He's a burly centre forward. He gets into positions. You can't shake him off the ball that easy. And he's fast. He can get into those diagonal balls coming through and does damage to teams because they don't know where he is because he goes fast. And he understands. My God, he understands how offside works, you know. He stays. And then that second, he's away. He's gone. It's a skill. Honestly, I think forward should look at this guy and say, "What's he doing right? He's never offside."
The
He
old
plays it, he
diagonal
looks,
run.
he goes along the line, and then when he sees it, his pace, bang, he's in behind. What a player, honestly, Barney Stewart. Scott, from university football to this is
Year and a half. I know.
Aye, I know.
But I mean, with these guys, it's a bit like Hatate as well. The chances were he might not make it in Pro Fitba, and no this year, the latter half of last year, but before that,
Mhm.
it lights a fire because these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
on your trajectory will be this or possibly that. It's like you might not even get this at all. So absolutely grasped it with both hands, and he's a handful, knows the diagonal run, but 21's, he's a young guy, so 21's is fine just now. There's a lot of players get fast tracked, and suddenly before you know it, they're in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I think 21's good enough, and just if he produces there, then there's a chance he might get moved up like Doak. So there's a good chance. So yeah, nothing too fast just now. If he's going to set the world on fire, he'll do it in 6 months, a year's time is just like just now. So yeah, I think softly with him. And had he been in the squad, I would have said, well, it's a punt, but I'm no too unhappy that he isn't. I think, don't know the guy, but when my pal was a teacher, and he was saying, that these guys come through, and there wasn't much chance of him getting it, but he's there and now. So these guys appreciate it all the more because it was something that they were never sure they were ever going to get.
You'll have to move to Celtic or Rangers, Glenn, to get us now. That's what happens, isn't it?
Could well be. Or Wrexham.
Or Wrexham. So Falkirk just aren't trendy enough. Neither are Dundee, but Motherwell are. They've got a few good players. Although the Scottish ones are getting old, and the good ones are all foreign. But that's the state of Scottish football, I'm afraid. Tying up that question, Glenn, the next player.
In case anybody missed it, yeah. Yeah, so John Suter, Rangers, Nathan Patterson, Everton, and Dominic Hyam at Wrexham. So, got another one for you, okay? Right. Have we got time for two, or we got time for one?
Well, we're looking at, we're 40 minutes in, so we've got time for another one at least.
Okay, well, we'll go with midfield, okay? So match the club to the current Scotland squad midfielders. Easy, okay, and hard. Bournemouth, Norwich, and Udinese.
Ryan Christie.
Bournemouth.
Or Bournemouth.
Yep.
Kenny McLean.
Yeah.
Is that Norwich? Yeah. What's the last one?
Udinese.
Who plays for you? Oh, Miller. Is it Miller?
On fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying all the there's no young Scottish players at Motherwell. That's because they sold them to Udinese.
I know, but Glenn, he is a good player.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to, or do you want to give the next one?
Yeah, we'll leave it hanging. Okay, so same thing. Match the club to the current squad, Scotland squad. Forwards: Torino, Middlesbrough, Charlton.
Stuart from Middlesbrough.
Okay, we'll not leaving it hanging.
Oh no, leave it hanging. I was just too quick off the match.
You're on a roll, and you're thinking, I'm going to get them all.
I know. I don't know how I'm getting these. Sometimes I don't know how they go into my head, Glenn. Other weeks I'm like, I haven't a clue. It's just that the questions are that good. That's the thing. And if you want more of these things, remember, think.biz calendars. They come out at Christmas time. I think you should have them out all the time, Glenn. You know what I mean?
Well, anyone gets in touch with me, I'll always sell them.
Aye. This is where we got a question from, by the way, folks. What's happened? We've got 20 minutes to go over the good and the great of Scottish football. I'm going to. This is a new section. What's the one thing that was good? One thing was bad. Off your questions here, Glenn. What was the one thing good, bad, and ugly of Scottish football in the last week, Chris? It's a bit of a throw it on you kind of thing. But what's happening with Scottish football? Is it good in a good place, or is it yeah?
Well, Europe's gone, so I think, from a sort of selfish perspective, I think Barney Stewart's equaliser was a bad thing, but I would say that. But I don't know. I think the sending off again of Motherwell player against Celtic. I'm not really sure that was a sending off. So
Yeah.
that would be. I mean, the guy. I don't know if he would have finished it for there, but it just and the way it dragged out as well. So that to me was a bit disappointing. So that's something that I didn't. I mean, turned out Celtic won 3-1 anyway. But yeah, that I wasn't sure that was a sending off. And it was already a penalty. So these things affect games, and it turns out it did. So I've got 1.5 bad things to say.
Well, I've got a good thing, and the two of you might not like it, but it was when Kilmarnock beat Hearts, and Hearts just didn't turn up, and Kilmarnock did. You would have thought that McInnes would have come out with all kinds of excuses, because he does that. He kind of moans and groans, but he just said, "Look, my team's got to keep on doing what they were doing last week. This is a blip." He was very, very positive about his team. And he still thinks that they can win the next game and the next game. All we've got to do is remember our good habits and all the rest. I just thought it was a masterclass of just keeping your players ticking over. Don't worry about that result. We're still top of the league. And I just thought he could have went to town. He could have melted on these questions. Oh, the bubble's burst and all the rest. No, he didn't. He didn't. And I thought that was a good thing for Scottish football. Glenn, so you've got good, bad, ugly referees, maybe?
Ugly. Oh my God.
David Dodds.
Oh my God. Well, I was thinking, first of all, good is that Napoli. So McTominay's back. He scored in 2 minutes tonight. Gilmour's playing. He's played the last 2 matches, and he's playing really, really well. So from a Scotland midfield point of view, I thought that was really good. The bad actually would be Schmeichel. As much as we joke about, etc., I think that's if he's played his last game and his injury is so severe, I think that's a horrific way for a guy that has had a really good career to finish like that. He's going to go out. He's going to miss the World Cup if they, obviously they've got some qualifiers to go playoffs, but they could be in the World Cup and he'll be sitting at home, etc. And his only memory will be obviously the Scotland 4-2 and Kenny McLean from the halfway line. And he's going to see that, but he's not going to have a chance to rectify that. The poor guy. So that's bad and ugly.
Yeah, well, it is. But unfortunately for Kasper Schmeichel, on this programme anyway, it's probably one of the highlights of my football life, just seeing these goals going in. Amazing goals going in against Denmark. When we're under the cosh, Chris, we're really, we needed those goals.
Well, the minute I saw the Benny Hill music kicking in, I knew that Schmeichel was going to have to beat Usain Bolt to get that net. So once in a lifetime, take it.
Right, so we'll get to the forecasts. Who's got the list? Because I haven't.
I've got it, yeah. So the opening match is Falkirk St Mirren.
Well, just let's talk about St Mirren, because there's a few in the bag, Glenn, for the new manager. Naismith, he's doing well at Stenhousemuir.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Neil Lennon's been mentioned. Would he leave Dunfermline to go there? I'm not sure. What do you think? Who's in your opinion, who's the runners and riders for that one?
Could be Neil McCann. He's currently, he's interim. He's had a few jobs, etc. He's doing really well with Kilmarnock. So I mean, it depends. He'll want to secure his future. If Kilmarnock don't say okay, you've got a job, blah blah blah, you've turned it around, and I don't think there's a job offer there for him yet. I mean, honestly, the change in their fortunes in the last few matches has been significant. So there's them. I think it's they've got an interim guy, and just now it's the coach from the academy, Craig McLeish. Yeah, so he's been told that possibly he could be the guy. They want someone to come in and galvanise the team. So much like Aberdeen, they're looking at where they are on the table and thinking, we can't go down, we can't afford to go down. Okay, so we need someone to come in with a quick effect. You look at Killie, if they're willing to gamble on McCann, and by giving him a job, he could save them.
I know, but would he jump to the Saints after doing so well? He's on a bit of a roll with Killie.
Totally. But who's got the most resources? Maybe they're both. I think they're not both in the same points, and they're separated by goal difference.
Yeah, that's right. You might be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, Chris.
I know.
It's high risk, that one, isn't it?
high drama, as they say. I don't know if he would, to be honest, because some of the things he was saying after the games and all that, he seems to have the team with him. I mean, they've no turned into world beaters overnight, but they're steadying the ship a wee bit. So personally, if I was him, you can have all the contacts and agents in the world telling you whatever, but you really don't know what's going on at a football club until you step in that door and it shuts behind you. And so, yeah, it's more of a sort of known quantity now for Kilmarnock, and they know him, and obviously Dodds is there as well. So, for me, I don't think I'd do it. I would stay there, and you've galvanised the team, and the team are with you. So that's the best chance you've got of avoiding the drop or avoiding playoffs, I would say. So if I was him, you're out there, McCann, listening, don't do it. I genuinely wouldn't, because it's very, very late in the day to come in. And bear in mind that we're playing against Kilmarnock as well. So yeah, I don't see what it's a bit like Scotland going to Uruguay and Chile. What is it? What's the expected or the best outcome? And I don't really see there'd be any advantage for. I mean, you need to talk about loyalty as well. So I don't think there's an end game in it for him to move.
I think that as well, Glenn. So it leaves Naismith from Stenhousemuir. I think he could be the main player here, because it's a step up for him, and it's a job. He's done well with Stenhousemuir. They put Morton, I think, out the cup. And they done it by 4-2. I mean, the 2 goals that Morton got were just like, but Stenhousemuir were playing really good football. I think it might be him. I don't think Neil Lennon's going to move. I don't think he'd jump, because his team's on the up, and you could say St Mirren's on the way down. Why would you want to firefight?
Nori, you might actually think, so at this stage in the season, if you're going to poach somebody, there's compensation involved, and obviously finances are tight. 2 free agents have become available. If you think about it, Tony Docherty.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter Leven. And Leven was on the shortlist of a couple of jobs before, when he was like, he stood in 3 times at Aberdeen. Yeah. And obviously, I mean, you can't really lay too much of the blame at his doorstep, because that team were not working at all, and nobody could get a tune out of them, for quite some time. So quite a few clubs fancied him. I mean, could it be a role reversal? Docherty came in to support Levine, but Docherty's got a lot of experience, or a reasonable amount of experience as a manager. Could Levine go with Docherty and support him?
Well, Tony Docherty took over at Ross County, and they hardly won a game, and they were getting beat 4-0. And now with Stuart Kettlewell's in, he's kind of stopped the hemorrhage. He's really getting to go for 1 eaches. Now he's onto the 1-0s. Now he's onto the 2-0s. There was a blip when we played St Johnstone. He didn't get the thing right, and they got beat 1-0. But 1-0 against the leaders. So if Tony Docherty couldn't get a tune out of them, but Stuart Kettlewell can, what does that tell you about Tony Docherty? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I take, because St Johnstone, before they went for Valacaris, they were asking about Peter Leven. Could he come in? And he says, no, I'm staying with Aberdeen. But now that he's not with the club anymore, is he?
No, he left today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good on him, because I think he'll flourish away from Aberdeen. I really do. And
most people do.
Job. I know. Anyway, so St Mirren are playing. What was the game?
Falkirk at home to St Mirren.
Well, you can't see, if Barney Stewart's playing, you know you've got a chance of winning that game. But on the other hand, Chris, you've got Scott Bain in nets.
I mean, it was a classic clanger where he immediately kidded when he was injured. I mean, honestly, yeah, mate, just stand up, point to yourself and say, let's move on here. But no,
I know. What do you reckon? Who's going to win that one?
Well,
Chris?
I mean, honestly, I think St Mirren's best bet would probably just be hold on to McLeish, and there's no point changing drastically now and just go with what you've got. He'll know the players inside out, but I think true. Falkirk. They were slightly unlucky against Aberdeen, so I think Falkirk will come back. Allegedly, they're not guaranteed the top 6 spot yet, but I think we all know that's a foregone conclusion. But no, I fancy Falkirk 2-0, to be honest.
I'm the same, Glenn. That the impetus to get in the top 6 is real, and they can do it if they win their games.
Yeah. They are in the top 6. They're not, it's mathematically impossible now for them not to be in the top 6. Yeah, as far as last time I checked, I'm sure that's the case. Because I mean, Dundee United and Dundee drew last week. They basically split each other's throats. Listen, I'm with you guys. Falkirk all day long. Barney Stewart's on fire. 16 in 26 games. They've got really good attackers down the wing, feeding them as well. You know, they can score from all positions. I like the way they play. St Mirren not on a great run, and let's face it. Had Falkirk played Aberdeen and Aberdeen hadn't appointed Stephen Robinson, then they would have won. You know, that was like McGlynn came out afterwards and said that's the most effort and running that Aberdeen have done in the last few weeks, kind of thing. You know, so you know there was that new manager kind of bounce. That you know they were more solid. Falkirk would have beaten them. So yeah, I can't see it being anything other than I'll go 2-0 as well.
I'm going 2-0. Gogic, I don't know if you've seen his injury. He went for a header. He's got staples in his head. The guy played on. You know, he's
not even noticed. Yeah.
Might improve him.
But you know what? He was heading the ball and all the rest of it. That's a player that's committed to the cause. If they can get players like that, you know, fighting for their survival, then you might see a tougher gig than you think for Falkirk because I think they've got everything to play for. They've got a new manager to impress. I think it'll be maybe one each. I think they'll play really well together and they'll take it. I think they'll take it. Next game.
It's a cracker. Hearts Dundee.
Oh, I tell you, I'm getting more and more impressed with Stephen Presley for his. I don't know what he's doing in these press conferences, but he always speaks so quietly and softly and moves his glasses up and down, puts them back on. You know, he's. This is not the hard-edged footballer we know, is it? This is a different guy altogether, but he's getting a tune out of Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
Could he take Hearts and put them in a lot of trouble, or have Hearts got enough in the bag to take Dundee? Chris,
I think they've got enough in the bag, but yeah, Dundee are just Congreve, Yaguna, Murray, just players that can definitely hurt you, hurt Motherwell, and God knows how, but they managed to pull that one back against Dundee United. So that's the thing about them now, that you know that you don't really know when they don't really know when they're down. So I suppose hand in heart, I'm hoping that Hearts do bounce back for this. But I've got a wee soft spot for Dundee now after I think me and you double-handedly, voted them number one team for the drop. So yeah, humble pie there.
Did we not say as well, Chris, that he's the first manager?
I mean, he was. Yeah, I mean, I had to take the poster down off the dartboard, but just I mean, it was just like the guy exudes minus personalities, but it's not a personality game, so that's the beauty of that.
That's right.
So I think Dundee will score, but ultimately Hearts at home. Probably Devlin back, maybe Shankland. If they don't win this one, then I think they can. It'll send out all the wrong signals for the league. So I think they have to win it, and I think Dundee will score, but probably 2-1 Hearts.
That's exactly what I was thinking in this one, Glenn. The stakes are high in this game; they're really high. Hearts have got to maintain that place at the top. They're assuming that Celtic and Rangers will both win their games, but we will analyse that ourselves. If they don't, that's 2 in the bounce, and then they slip down. They have to win this. It's a really big game for them. They'll be up for it, won't they? They'll be up for it.
Yeah. They'll be up for it. They're not going to win it. Honestly, they had to win the last one to maintain the gap. They didn't turn up. You know? They're on a really bad run. You do not win. I don't think you win championships when taking 9 points out of 18. That's what they're on. Dundee are also on the same run, 9 points out of 18. Dundee are playing good football. You're saying the man doesn't exude confidence. He exudes depression. It's what it's working. I don't know. Maybe it just fits in with Dundee, But they're playing well. They don't give up. They were 2-0 down and they stole it. They stole a point off of Dundee United. They never, they got 2 goals in the last few minutes kind of thing. They are unbeaten in 5, I think. If you look at these stats, right? Hearts have scored just 5 goals from 77 shots in the Premiership. Their conversion rate is 6.5. It's the lowest of any side in the competition at this time. That's from February. Meanwhile, Dundee are the top of this metric with 15.2. I think it's going to be a draw, high scoring. I know that goes against what I just said about Hearts, but they've got Shanklin back and they've got Devlin back. Don't think Shanklin will start. He's been out for so long. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, he might do, but I think Devlin will start. Shanklin off the bench because they need him back. You don't want to rush him and like put him through the 90 minutes, etc. They might think they've got enough to take care of Dundee. I think 2-2.
2-2.
And the crucial thing here is if Dundee, if they draw and Celtic win by 3, clear, Celtic are top.
Yeah, I know. See, do you think it'll get to them, Glenn? Do you think the heebie-jeebies will be coming on to them?
I think it's got them already.
Oh.
None of those players have been in this position. Now, Celtic, they've ground out some results. They've been bad in some games, etc. But they've got guys in there that have been over the line before. They've got more experienced players. Now, if you're good enough, you should be able to win it, okay? But you've seen it. It's eked away. Their lead is down, I can see this happening. I mean, if they weren't facing Dundee, they're facing Dundee earlier in the season. I think they thumped them 4-0. This is a different team,
I know.
You're going to have, you imagine the crowd. There's 19,000, 20,000, 19,000 in Tynecastle. If this is not going well for them, they support their team really well, okay? But they're nervous. They want this so badly, and quite rightly so. All of us would want this if this was our team, okay? But you know what it's like when you sit in a packed stadium and it's not going your way. And Dundee, they'll come out and play. And if Hearts are like they were against Kilmarnock, then that crowd will get in the back of their team, and it's just going to add to the pressure.
See, I take accord to what you're saying there, Glenn, because Kilmarnock got the first goal and they bagged it. If a team gets the first goal, they're struggling. They do panic and they wonder how they're going to get the goal. But apart from that, against Kilmarnock, first balls were lost, duels were lost, second balls were lost, space, they didn't run in. They looked a tired, leggy team. And I think
they hit the post as well, remember? They hit a ferocious shot, hit the post.
I know. But these have got to go in. You've got to have more and more chances like that to go in. And you've got to create. I didn't think they created. I think they were a really poor side against Kilmarnock. Really poor. All over the pitch. I think they can't play as bad as that. I honestly. And if McInnes is worth his salt, he'll get a tune out of them for this. And I think they'll win this game. But further again, ahead of that, I have my doubts. I think he'll win this game and give them a bit of respite and they'll stay top. But for how long, I don't know. I just think Dundee are in a kind of... against Dundee United, it was an own goal, a stupid own goal that got them the points. They just lofted the ball in. They didn't have any structure to win that game. Dundee United should have won it. So I'm thinking there's a lot of work to do with Dundee. I think Hearts will take them. But after that game, we'll wait and see. I'm going 2-1 to Hearts. Easy.
Easy. Are you putting your famous fiver on?
Where is it? Where is
it? The shaky table.
It's usually people put my fiver on for themselves. You know what I mean? It's not me that puts it on. Somebody else grabs my fiver and puts it on. So next game, is that 2 home games we're saying that we're forecasting? 2 home matches.
Well, I'm going for a draw.
Oh, you're going for a draw.
Yeah.
Next game, who we got?
This is arguably the game of the weekend. It's Killy Livingston.
Oh, why?
11th versus 12th. And Livy, if they're going to stay up or make the playoff, They have to win this.
Do you know this? See, when you watch Livingston, they're not that far away from a really good team. Seriously, good team. They just make so many errors and they give the ball away, or the guy doesn't track back, or something that you can fix. And I think the new coach is taking over that. He's really analysing where they're going wrong. They've still got a really good team. Is it a home game for Livingston?
No, Killie.
Oh, going to Killie. They're on fire just now because they beat Hearts. And McInnes will be Neil McCann will be going, well, if we can beat Hearts, we can beat them.
That's the key, isn't it? That's the key. So there was no pressure on them to beat Hearts. Nobody expected them to beat Hearts. And they did. But there is pressure on this one. If they win this match, it's done and dusted, basically, as far as like they won't finish bottom. No. But most teams struggle going to Killie, but Livy playing a plastic pitch too.
I know. That's the thing. It could be a leveler, Chris. Yeah. I'm probably going for a one each draw on this one. Do you know that?
Well, I mean, I do take exception what you said that Livy are only far away from being a good team. I would say they're a league's length away from being a good team. And I know Bartley's come in and they've grabbed the draws and all the rest of it, but I think with Neil McCann geeing them up on the back of that other victory, then there is pressure, but I think the sort of relationship, he's quietly bonded with the team. Yeah, I think it's too late for Livy, so I would say 2-0 for Killie.
2-0.
Yeah.
Glenn, what are you thinking?
Well, Norrie, when you said that Livy are not far away from being a good team, I think you meant they're only 10 miles away from Tynecastle. Is that right? Yeah.
No, honestly, I think Stevie May's he's getting a tune out of him. He's getting players that are, that haven't been playing well under Martindale. I think he's getting more out of them. They're running for the ball more. They're getting the second balls. They're playing forward. Whether it's going to work out for them, I don't know. I just think plastic pitches might be a factor here, Glenn.
Yeah, look, I agree. I mean, I think 4 draws and a bounce. It's he's galvanised them. He's got them playing a bit better. They're tighter. They're harder to beat. Obviously, I can't see them winning, but I do think it'll be a draw. And to be honest, that's not enough for Livy. But I think they'll get a draw. I'll go 1-1.
I'm going 1-1 as well. It'll be a torrid occasion, but it depends who gets the first goal. If Killie get the first goal, it's going to be a tough day at the office for Livy. But if Livy get the first goal, it's going to be a bit tougher on the other side. But I think they can still get goals because they've got really good players. But I still think it's 1-1. Once you've got that point, that goal, you hang on to it for dear life. And I think that's what they'll do. 1 each. Next one.
Motherwell Hibs.
Oh, Hibs they're not firing on all cylinders. Chris, don't know about this one.
I'll be honest. I mean, Motherwell. Well, I was certainly saying that the Kingmakers. They'll definitely. I was thinking they've got a chance to even pull into third place. It's not looking quite so likely now, but I think Asku's he's got a decent resolve with him, and the guys in defence like McGinn. Then I think they're going to win this one, maybe 1-0. I think they're still capable of getting third. So I think they're going to go all out just to sort of stop the rot and get 1-0, beat them 1-0.
Oh, Glenn, what do you reckon? Do you think Hibs have got something?
Hibs have. I mean, I don't know if they've got enough for this. I think you'll see a fairly decent Motherwell. The pressure's off. I think the talk about titles and all that kind of stuff probably got them a little bit, and they probably tried too hard. They played some nice stuff occasionally at Celtic Park. Mm-hmm. That's dead and buried. It's been a great season for them. Now that's not in, no one's talking about it. They're now saying it's back to being like a 3-horse race. Okay, Motherwell aren't in it, but they could well finish in a decent position for Europe. I reckon they'll have too much for Hibs. 2-1 to Motherwell.
2-1 to Motherwell. I got an email from Motherwell Football Club saying that they've got a full house, full stand at their end. They're getting the crowds in continually for this brand of football they're playing. Yeah. I think Motherwell are. I think they're good enough when they play at their best and they've got all players available. I don't know Hibs, I just think they're playing for, they're not a patch on what they were last year. They're not. Something's happened to them. And I'm going with you. I think Motherwell will take this one, but I think it's 2-0 for Motherwell. Next one, what we got? Did we get you in this one, Chris? Did you get a? Yeah, you did.
I think Motherwell will scrape it 1-0 and just sort of arrest the rot.
Aye, I think the same. Next one.
The red card match, Rangers Aberdeen.
Red letter.
Well, we're all Aberdeen fans. Did you see a marked difference under, and be honest here, under Stephen Robinson when we played against Falkirk?
Yes.
Did you, Glenn?
Yeah, in the sense that they actually, well, I mean, not just did I see it, the stats back it up as well. That performance there. They covered the second most distance in the league this season. They worked harder, they ran harder, and that's horrible because you then have to sit back and say, well, why the hell weren't you doing that before? Now, they weren't brilliant. We only had one training session with them, so I wasn't expecting a lot. But I was expecting the team to live up to what he was saying, that if you don't run, if you don't work really hard for all 90 minutes, you won't be in my team. And that message got through.
Well, Chris, we've said continuously in this show and on Caledon Sports Show as well when we were doing that the fitness levels of the St Mirren team were exemplary. They could run all day. They could go, and even in the 90th minute, they'd still be going for a corner because that's how Robinson played them. And invariably, they got results from that. Draws, wins. They even beat the Old Firm in one or two occasions, got a cup. But you have to have basic minimum for any sport is fitness. And I think that's what Aberdeen didn't have.
No, but look, he said one training session with them, and now suddenly the stats are saying that's effort. That's nothing to do with fitness. Literally, if he was able to do that to their fitness levels after one session, he'd be a sort of performance coach at Man City or something like that. So, it's effort, and I think it's despicable that these guys getting that much money just go, well, do you know what? We really don't. Interim manager will let him go. It's not. I don't think it's right in the modern game because they're getting paid a good whack. But that being said, they did put in a bit more effort. Now that guy Geiger, I think I'm hoping for good things for him. But this game, I mean, what I would say is that the pressure's back on Rangers now because Hearts will have played before them, and they probably would rather be going up to Aberdeen, but they're at home. So, and we've seen Butland. Who turns up? We don't know. Dimitri, absolutely the same at the other end. So it's a potential. If Aberdeen are going to sort of put any mark in Robinson's arrival, this would be the one. So I'm going to go a sort of nervy 1-1 draw.
Oh, Glenn, this would be a marker, wouldn't it? He'd get the Aberdeen fans on side with a win here. Yeah.
I think Chris is reading my mind. I'm thinking it's a 1-1 draw too. He's come out and said that I've gone to Ibrox before and I've won games, etc. I don't ever go into any game with any kind of fear. None of my teams ever go with any kind of fear. I think you only go with fear if you're not organised. I think this is going to be a solid performance at the back. Malloy had a really good game last week against Falkirk. He won 8 out of 10 of his aerial battles, etc. He had interventions. Really. I think that's probably the best I've seen him for quite some time. He's been out injured a little bit as well, but no, I mean, if he can get the defence sorted, it's a big one. But I think he will. I think that we'll be tight. But he also says that he goes into every game trying to win as well. So we will express ourselves, but I think we'll be much harder to beat. I think it'll be 1-1 because the Rangers have got a lot of pressure, and it will be again toxic if they don't actually get an early goal.
Well, we've always got to remember they might get a good few referees' decisions going their way. That we've got to wager against that. And the other thing I'm worried about for Aberdeen is Dimitri Mitov. I don't think he's playing to the best of his ability. I think he's a nervous wreck. He's going for balls that he's not got a chance of getting. He's trying to punch balls, he's missing them. I think there's opportunity, and the reserve goalie was in, and he didn't do any better. So who's the guy we've got from Cove Rangers? Get him in now. We really have to sort
injured,
out.
I think.
Is he?
Doesn't matter. I get him in.
I know, I get him in.
Get Casper Schmeichel in. He'll do better.
No. Steady. But we have got a problem in the goals. Maybe if Stephen Robinson identifies this, maybe he can do something to change it. Protect the goalie. Don't come for these high balls that you're missing all the time. Just deliver on the distribution and diving, stopping them. If we do that, I think definitely we've got one each would be. I think we could do that easy. I honestly think Aberdeen's got to change. It's been so garbage, right? I watched Aberdeen through my fingers. You know what I mean? Honestly, but now I'm thinking we've got a chance. We've got a wee chance here. Stephen Robinson's been there, done it, bought the T-shirt. And now he's got a better team, he says, than St Mirren. One each. I think we can get a draw, which will scupper their league chances.
I know. Great. Live on TV, by the way. I don't know which channel, but it's, I think, 5:45.
Oh, it'll be Premier. They always get these games. So we're all going for a draw on this one. Mark this down. Next game.
The last one, it's Dundee United versus Celtic.
At Tannadice.
Yeah.
Do you know this?
That lovely
Chris,
pitch.
I don't think Celtic are playing that great football. I honestly don't. Dundee United played really good against Dundee, then they committed Harry, you know? But they were 2-0 up. They were playing a really good brand of football. Fata is a speedy guy up front. And just these guys are like, once they start playing with each other and start getting to identify and start talking with each other, they're not a bad team, Dundee United.
Well, I thought Fata was good with the penalty. Very composed. You know, there was a lot riding on it, and yeah, they were. But I mean, in the back of their mind, they're saying, right, these boys flew across the road. We were home and hosed, and then suddenly it's 2 each. What happened there? And now they're playing the Masters of the 100, as Roddy would say, the 107th minute goal, Celtic. So
yeah.
I don't even know if they've got McGregor, but I mean, if you think, you know, the Tierney was out, Jota, and they've still managed to somehow win these games. So they've been over the course before. As I say, I don't know if McGregor's going to manage to get there, but the pressure will be on them. But they just seem to be able to grind it out. So I would suspect 2-1 or 2-0 Celtic. You know, don't even need to be the better team, but they just seem to manage to put the ball away in the latter stages of the match. And Dundee, as I say, Dundee in the back, Dundee United in the back of that, just 2 goals out of nowhere. So they're going to be that in the back. They're going to have that in the back of their mind. So I would say 2-1 Celtic.
Glenn,
well, you were saying that they're not in the best form, etc. But over the 3 challengers, they're in the best form. It's tight between them and Rangers. They've got 13 out of 18 points last 6 matches. They just had a big win. I mean, honestly, that could have like really dented their title chances if it'd been a draw or if Motherwell had won. But no, although it was tighter and than the scoreline suggests, 3-1 against Motherwell. Motherwell really going for it as well. I think that's really big. I think they'll go there. It's Dundee United. Dundee United collapsed last week. I don't think they'll have enough. I don't think it'll be pretty. I think Celtic will run out either 2-0, 2-1. I'll go 2-0.
2-0. I'm going worse than that. I'm going 3-0. I think they'll just smell blood after the first goal goes in, and their attackers are fast. They'll attack Dundee, and Dundee United's back line are really shoddy. I mean, that own goal typified. I mean, not just that, but he gave away a free kick that started up the Dundee ball, and then he hit nodded in his own net. Nah, I don't think that exudes confidence. And I just think of all the places you could have hit that ball off your head, you could have hit it out behind, but he didn't. He put it in his own net. Didn't think about what he was doing. And that shows a guy that's not maybe up to this calibre playing Premier, Scottish Premier. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too difficult on them. But that's, you just don't do that. That's a defender. That's it, isn't it? That's us done. That's us.
Do you want to answer? Do you want to answer, or do I leave it hanging?
Leave it hanging, Glenn, for next week.
Okay, I'll repeat it just now. Match the club to the current Scotland squad forwards: Marino, Middlesbrough, Charlton.
There you go. Look, if you've stayed with us till now, thank you very much. That's a whole hour you've given up your time to watch us. But listen, if you like it, share it, subscribe, and like it, because it does help us a lot on our channel. But for the time being, guys, that's us. You can go back to your night shift, Chris, with your vest. He's on the roads.
I didn't think you could see me.
We can see you, all right. Listen, I've just climbed to Monroe today, so I'm absolutely goosed, absolutely knackered. You'll see all my stuff on Facebook if you want, but I'm knackered. So I'm going to get my tea, sit down. I've done my sport for this weekend, by the way. Can I say the same about you?
I'm going out on the bike tomorrow. But St. Johnson Partick, 7:45, I think, tonight.
Oh, good. I'll be watching.
I think it's council TV.
Topper. Yeah, I'll be a cracker. I think I'll settle down my tea. I don't know what I'm getting my tea tonight, but whatever I've got, I'll watch the football with that. All the best, guys. We'll catch up next week, and maybe we'll have a 4, 5 maybe next week. I don't know. Why not? Get 5 of us on.
My God. Pandemonium.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's what
Have a nice weekend, guys.
We're Stramash. All the best, guys. Take care.
Cheers,
folks.